Hi, it's Dennis Daly. The golden age of radio was one of the shortest golden ages of all time, yet during its run, radio brought about immense change in America. Radio brought us through the Depression and the Second World War, and then struggled on until television finally won the battle for supremacy in American media. Radio had begun just after the turn of the last century as dots and dashes, listened to by do-it-yourself radio enthusiasts. Then early voice transmissions brought radio into its first age. By the 30s, the techniques were perfected, the networks were in place, and radio was on its way. The war changed everything, as did the coming of television. On the night of September 30th, 1962, when yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and Suspense signed off on the CBS radio network, the golden age ended. But radio's final 25 years were golden indeed. So join me now as we explore radio's last 25 years. 1959 was the year Fidel Castro came to power in Cuba. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev toured the U.S. and met with President Eisenhower at Camp David. In '59, Alaska became the 49th state and Hawaii became the 50th. A new West Coast team, the former Brooklyn Dodgers, won the World Series, beating the White Sox in 6 games. And in radio, the slow decline of the medium continued, with more and more network programs going off the air forever. But they tried to continue things at CBS and came up with one of the most important radio shows of all time, an extremely well-written radio version of the very popular TV show Have Gun Will Travel. Richard Boone had fascinated America on television, but on radio, it was John Dehner.
I'm gonna break you. There are a lot of people here who are ripe to tear you down, and all they need is a good enough reason. I'm gonna give them that reason. Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Dehner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of the man called Paladin.
Ah, good evening, Miss Wong.
Ah, good evening, Mr. Chang.
Hey, boy.
Ah, yes.
When are you all finished?
Very soon now.
Oh, then maybe we go out together, eat dinner.
You don't eat here in Carlton Kitchen?
Oh, no.
No? Where we go, then?
Oh, hey, boy knows. Good little cafe. Lots of good food, good drink at your Chinatown. Run by Uncle of Hey Boy.
Sounds very nice.
Okay, we go. But first must run find Mr. Paladin. Have message for him. But I find him very quick and be back. You wait, okay?
Okay.
Everything foggy, dark, and drippy. Can't see nose in front of face. Miserable. Oh, there you are, Mr. Paladin. Hey boy has message for you. Excuse me, please. Talk to someone else. Very embarrassing. Mr. Paladin!
Over here, hey boy.
Oh, glad to find you at last, Mr. Paladin. Look all over for you.
Told you I'd be right here in the square.
Isa, but difficult to locate you in black of night.
You know, there's something exciting and adventurous about San Francisco on a night like this.
There is?
Down there, the bay, and around this hill, the city, stretching away unseen in all directions. The city filled with people, working, dreaming, living.
Isa, all very nice, but all the same thing true on sunny afternoon.
Oh, hey, boy. Where's your romance? Your spirit of adventure?
Oh, my romance is waiting for me back at hotel. Well, I come and tell you this message.
Oh, what is it?
Message come from person called T. Buchanan. Come from place called North Fork. Message say, trouble in North Fork. Come right away. What you say, Mr. Paladin?
Well, I'll be back at the hotel in a little while, hey, boy. I'll decide then.
Oh, I know you, Mr. Paladin. You decide already. You go.
As it turned out, North Fork was 2 days' stage ride from San Francisco, and it consisted of 3 frame buildings on one side of a rutted and dusty road. A livery stable, a saloon, and a general store. I figured the store would be the best place to start looking for this T. Buchanan. Inside, a tall man with a full beard and dark clothes was having trouble with the storekeeper. A rather pretty girl stood quietly to one side, listening.
As long as I own this store, you Mennonites buy nothing here.
We work hard, we mind our own business.
You make me sick. When the Indians rode through last week, where were you?
Our religion forbids us to raise our hands against any man.
You Mennonites cause trouble wherever you go.
Now, that's not true.
Who are you?
My name's Paladin. In Pennsylvania, the Mennonites are model citizens. They've been there since before the Revolution.
Well, this ain't Pennsylvania.
Black hat, black coat, got a beard like a billy goat.
That's a filthy thing to say.
Tildy, please.
Let her talk up, Blackbeard. Tildy always was one to say what was on her mind, or maybe she don't do that no more now that you stole her away.
Take that back, Judd Polk. Nobody stole me away. I wanted to live with the Mennonites. They're decent people.
I suppose you think they're better than me, huh? Or better than your own pa, maybe.
Pa's a drunken old man with no...
Tildy, it's no good quarrel.
Let her talk up, you hymn-singing rabbit. You let a man slap you and do nothing?
I forgive thee.
Forgive me good, then, and turn your other cheek, Blackbeard.
No, you leave him alone.
You ain't forgot how to fight, have you, Tildy?
Leave her alone.
What did you say, mister?
I said leave her alone.
Now, wait a minute. There'll be no shooting in here.
You want to go outside?
Now, look, mister.
All right, then get out.
What?
Get out.
I thank thee, friend, for helping. I am Bruckner.
My pleasure, Mr. Bruckner.
And this is Tildy Buchanan.
T. Buchanan?
Yes, Mr. Paladin. I'm T. Buchanan. Yes, I sent for you. Mr. Bruckner wouldn't approve if he knew, but didn't know what else to do. Mr. Paladin, what's going to become of these people?
Well, it's hard to say, Tildy. They're not easy people to defeat.
A lot of it. The way folks feel about them is my fault, because I joined them. Judd, the one you almost fought, he thinks he loves me, and he hates them for taking me in. I suppose he has reason. My father sold me to Judd for $50 a month ago.
Sold you?
When he was drunk. When I ran away, no one would take me in but the Mennonites, and now it's horrible for them. Last week their fields were burnt.
And somebody fired them?
Yes. Mr. Bruckner insists that it was a heavenly messenger, but I found a coal oil can near the fence.
How bad was the damage?
All the corn, hay fields, and the only thing left is 5 acres of wheat.
And that's probably blight infested like all the rest of the wheat I've seen around here.
No, it's not.
Well, Mr. Bruckner.
Wheat stands strong and green, Mr. Paladin. We've never been bothered with blight. Our seed comes from the old country, the Crimea. But 5 acres is pitifully small, and we've had a meeting and decided to sell our lands to Culligan and move on.
No, Mr. Bruckner, you can't.
We have little choice.
Selling to Culligan?
He's wanted to buy this land for a long time.
Mr. Bruckner, would you do me a great favor?
Of course.
Let me do your dealing with Culligan.
You must promise there will be no violence, Mr. Paladin.
Well, I can only promise you this, Mr. Bruckner. If there is any violence, it won't be my making. The next morning, I rode into North Fork ahead of Mr. Bruckner and the others. As I passed field after field of blighted wheat burning under the sun, I kept thinking of how the Mennonites had endured silently and patiently, without raising their voices or their hands. And I told myself that I would try very hard to remember their feelings about violence.
10 cents a bushel.
Well, we didn't come here to have our crops stolen.
You want to eat blighted wheat yourself? Go to it. 10 cents a bushel. Take it or leave it.
I reckon we got no choice.
Come on inside.
Hey, mister. I want to talk to you.
Who are you?
Margie Buchanan, Kilty's father. I want to talk to you about her.
You want to sell her to me now? Is that what you want?
No, look here. She put in with them Mennonites, and now you...
You make me sick, mister.
Hey, now.
Sorry, first, here's your money.
Well, there's nowhere's near enough, Culligan, and you know it.
Take it or leave it.
Okay.
Well, what do you want?
I want to talk to you.
Say what you got to say.
Mennonites have decided to sell. Bruckner says you offered $5 an acre. I'm representing.
That offer included the standing crops. Now that the corn's all burnt, I'll pay $3, not a cent more.
You're a disgrace to your fellow man. You stir up prejudice that makes a mockery of everything a decent man holds valuable, while you're a vulture who can't wait to pick a meal from the dead. I just heard you with that man Ferris.
You gonna sell it or not?
No. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Culligan. I'm going to break you. There's a lot of people here who are ripe to tear you down, and all they need is a good enough reason. And I'm going to give them that reason.
The people here will stick with me. I helped them build this town right from the start. You think you'll listen to a stranger, a traveling gunslinger?
I promised a man that I wouldn't commit violence. I've never found it harder to keep my word. My talk with Culligan had been bluff, and I knew it hadn't worked. I had no idea yet what my next move should be, but I knew that the trouble at North Fork was bound to explode. It had to explode. And there was bound to be violence when it did. In the saloon, I found a corner table and sat there, nursing a drink and a 3-penny cigar.
Oh, Mr. Paladin, I got to talk to you, Mr. Paladin.
We don't have much to talk about.
Oh, can I...
Another glass or two won't make much of a difference. Sit down, help yourself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You're not a pretty sight, Buchanan.
You don't like me, Paladin, and there ain't no reason why you should.
That's right.
But believe me, it ain't all my fault.
Oh, it never is. You said you had to talk to me?
Judd Polk's out to get you.
Oh?
He just left Culligan's place. He's hired a gunfighter. He says you'll never leave town alive.
Oh, why are you telling me this? Why are you concerned with Judd Polk's plans for me?
'Cause, Paladin, You're Tildy's last hope.
What are you talking about?
Tildy's caught right in the middle. The Mennonites won't fight for her, and I can't. I don't have the spirit for it anymore. We're drowned in 1,000 whiskey barrels.
What do you want me to do?
Well, you got to help Tildy find some kind of happiness. She'd kill herself before she'd marry Judd Polk. Oh, please, Mr. Paladin, will you help? Will you do something?
All right, I will. And I want you to do your part.
I will. You just tell me what I can do. I'll try hard, and I'll do it.
Then find as many farmers as you can. Tell them to come here. And hurry. Mr. Bruckner. Tildy.
Oh, Mr. Paladin.
We've been looking for you. Did you talk with Mr. Culligan?
Yes, he is trying to steal your price at $3 an acre.
Oh, no.
That's less than we paid for it.
Well, don't worry. He won't get it for that. For that matter, he may not get it at all.
I don't understand.
You will.
Mr.
Later.
Paladin, I told the farmers. I told every last one of them. And they'll be here. They'll... Oh. Hello, Tildy.
What are you doing here, Pa?
I'm trying to help Mr. Paladin.
I don't trust you, Pa.
Oh, Tildy, I done a lot of wrong things, but I do love you, and I wouldn't do you no more harm. You nor any of the good people.
You've been for driving us out of the country, Mr. Buchanan.
Oh, that's right, I have.
Here, you see, you admit it.
Tildy, please, let him explain.
Well, the way I figured it, Tildy, your only chance for a decent life was to get away from North Fork and for me.
What?
I hoped that if the Mennonites left, you'd go with them. Then you'd be free of everything here.
Pa.
I don't care if you believe me or not, any of you, but just help Tildy get away.
Look out!
Mr. Paladin, are you all right?
Yeah.
You shot at that man. You killed him.
I know.
That's the gunfighter Judd Polk hired to kill you.
Mr. Paladin, there's Judd.
Hold it, Polk. Right where you are.
Now, wait a minute, Paladin. You don't want to kill me. Not over a worthless piece of trash like her.
Judd, this is for a lot of people. I've never seen a sorrier collection of people trying to call itself a town. You're not a town, you're a mob. And you'll always be a mob until you start thinking for yourselves. You, Ferris. How did the blight affect you this year?
Lost most of my crop. Had to sell it for fodder.
And the rest of these people, how'd they do?
A lot of them lost everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Now, these Mennonites whom you've been trying to drive out of town have got seed that resists blight.
Yeah? Well, I never heard of blight-free wheat.
There are 5 acres of it on the Mennonite farm.
What good does that do us?
How much would you charge for seed, Mr. Bruckner?
Mr. Paladin, we came here hoping it'd be our new home. We want to be good neighbors. Good neighbor never acts like a businessman. We have plenty of this seed, enough to give some to everybody so that they can develop seed of their own.
Anyone who takes that offer can start looking for another place to get their supplies.
We'll take our chances, Culligan. And you go out of business in no time, because no one will deal with you. Somebody else will open a decent store here to replace you. Mr. Bruckner, I'm Tom Ferris. That's Bill Holy over there, and Carl Runyon there, and Ed Tatum over there.
Hi.
Well, what I'm saying is, We haven't been very good neighbors, Mr. Bruckner, but we'd like to be.
Mr. Paladin, you've been back from North Fork 3 days now.
That's right.
And every day since you've been back, we take a walk.
Right.
Yes, sir. 1 day along Noble Hill, 1 day through Chinatown. And today we walk from one end of Embarcadero to other. What I want to know is why.
I like this town, hey, boy. And the more I see of other places, the more I like San Francisco.
Oh, yes, sir, but well, I like San Francisco too, but not when I run all over it.
We're not running all over it.
Oh, maybe not you, but hey, boy, does to keep up.
Oh, I'll slow down. There. That better?
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, say, hey, boy, how's your romance coming along?
Oh, romance?
Miss Wong.
Oh, not too good, no. Take her to dinner night you leave for North Fork. Don't see her again for 2 days.
What happened?
Started out to have dinner at a restaurant of Uncle, but changed your mind. Go to Italian restaurant instead. Eat lots of food, drink your wine, laugh, tell jokes. And next day, Miss Wong in bed with sad stomach. Oh, cannot digest elaborate food. Ooh, she mad at me. Oh, she said, hey, boy, next time we go to dinner, we go to a nice Chinese restaurant, eat nice, plain Chinese food. Like egg roll, almond duck, sweet sour pork, water chestnut or bird nest soup, wonton, sumai, chiki sogum, fried shrimp, soy sauce, moo gashi.
Gun Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed by Norman McDonald and stars John Daner as Paladin with Ben Wright as Hayboy. Tonight's story was written by Irving Rubine and adapted for radio by John Dawson. Featured in the cast were Lou Krugman, Joseph Kearns, Jess Kirkpatrick, Harry Bartell, and Vic Perrin. Congratulations to station WDBJ, Roanoke, Virginia, which celebrated its 35th anniversary on the air June 20, 1959. This is Hugh Douglas inviting you to join us again next week for Have Gun, Will Travel.
I think Have Gun Will Travel on radio was such a wonderful show for a couple of reasons. We can't always get the best quality recording, but it was born in the age of magnetic recording tape. It was crisp and clean when broadcast and sounded absolutely live. And as I mentioned so many times, John Dehner has always been one of my favorite radio actors. Now back to the late 1950s, and another episode of one of the few shows that was really still riding high as radio began to die. Have Gun Will Travel.
You hired me to keep a mob from lynching a man. Now you want me to hand them over. Just which side of that badge are you going to stand behind, Sheriff?
Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Dehner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel. Headquarters of a man called Paladin.
This is excellent sherry, hey boy. My compliments to the management.
Oh, I tell them about compliment later, Mr. Paladin. They asked me to give you a bill.
Hmm? Ooh.
Yes, it's good idea not tell them a compliment to remind them you were on.
Take this back to them. Tell them it'll be settled in a week's time.
Oh, they'd be very happy.
Then bring me some more sherry. And after that, you better run up and pack my clothes.
You going where again?
To a place called Arcadia, and to a man named Grayson.
Oh, what for?
It depends on Mr. Grayson. He happens to be a sheriff, and he happens to have a prisoner everyone wants to lynch.
Aye. You know you coming?
Not yet. But send him a wire.
You shall have gone, will travel?
Correct. Arcadia was an ugly town set in an ugly notch between two ugly mountains. Not the kind of place a man wants to come to after 2 days of hard riding. And not the kind of people a man wants to meet when he's too tired to understand anger and too weary to care about deceit. The greeting committee was a weather-boned woman flanked by a pair of burly men. I walked to where they stood, blocking the boardwalk.
You got business in town, mister?
Yes.
Who with?
The sheriff?
About the Briggs murder?
Yes.
What's your name, mister?
Paladin.
Get on your horse, Paladin, and keep going. We don't need outside help. Jim Briggs was my son.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Briggs.
Not Mrs. Briggs. It's Widow Briggs. No husband, no son. Just Widow Briggs.
Good day, ma'am. Excuse me.
Harry, you and Boke go back to the ranch. Get Tom here. Tell him the sheriff's hired a gun cleaner.
All right, Miss Briggs.
Reach up. Sheriff Grayson, my name is Paladin.
Oh. Come in, Paladin. Sorry about that gun in the belly.
Just I gotta be a mite careful about who walks in here.
That bad?
Not yet, but it can be. They want to hang my prisoner without a trial. I'm glad to see you, Paladin. I guess I don't have to tell you that, but I suppose I ought to tell you it'll be just the two of us. I can't get any more help.
Have they tried anything yet?
Just talk so far. Oh. But they know the judge will be in from Placer Wednesday. I gauge he'll do more than just talk before he gets here.
Oh, excuse me, Papa.
My daughter, Julia, Miss Paladin.
How do you do, Miss Grayson?
How do you do? Can I take these cookies to him, Papa?
Sure. Come along, Miss Paladin. You can have a look at our prisoner. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Mr. Grayson. Hello, Julia.
Hello, Andy. I just finished baking these cookies, Andy. Andy.
Julia, last night I heard an owl.
Did it keep you awake?
I pretended it was you calling to me that it was time for us to go on a picnic out to the old barn.
Here, Andy. Try one of these cookies.
I pretended it was you calling.
Andy. Andy. Oh, Andy.
All right, Judy. Paladin, let's go out front.
How long has he been like that?
Since he was a child. He followed Julia around like a puppy. Has for years.
A man like that can't be held responsible for his acts.
Try to tell that to the widow Briggs. They found Andy in the old Smith barn near the body. Jim had been stabbed between the shoulder blades with a stake or spike or something like that. Nobody ever did find out what it was. They say a person like Andy probably didn't know he'd done it. Just sat there. You know, judging isn't my job. Keeping a mob back is.
That'd be easier to do if we could establish some reasonable doubt about his guilt. Is there anything in that barn, any murder weapon?
Nothing, Mr. Paladin.
Well, there's a murder weapon somewhere. Our job is to find it. There's always something. Something to kill with, something to hate over, something to be said, something to be explained, something to be done. But then again, there's always the exception. The one chance that there's nothing.
Paladin?
Huh?
Look yonder, down the street.
Widow Briggs.
Get in the other room, Julia.
Papa, you won't let him have him?
She'd have brought more men if she wanted to force a showdown now.
Hope you're right, Mr. Paladin.
The one riding in calico, who was he?
Tom Chisholm. He was a friend of Jim Briggs.
Now, he might be trouble. I'll handle it, Sheriff.
It's my job.
Just stay inside, Grayson. Hello, Mrs. Briggs?
Who's that, Mrs. Briggs?
Name's Paladin.
You're tall and loose, Mr. Paladin, and your guns are tied low. No shame to tell a cutting a notch on you.
You want to try, Mr. Chisholm?
Just might be I could beat you.
Wait, Tom. This ain't the time for that. We've got to even things for my son, Jim. For your friend.
This man figuring to stop us.
No, he ain't. He's got any sense. Tell Neil Grayson he's turning Andy over to us, Paladin.
He stays here until he gets a fair trial.
Tell Grayson we'll give the boy a fair trial.
You'll hang him.
I ain't here to argue points with you. You're an outsider. This town don't like gunslingers moving in, and we're taking matters into our own hands. The men are coming back with me at 3 o'clock.
We want Andy then.
I hope you ain't got the good sense Mrs. Briggs thinks you got. I'd like to cut a notch on account of you.
3 o'clock. Sharp. Come on, Tom.
She just won't rest until she sees Andy hanging from a tree.
Paladin, maybe I got you into something bigger than we can both handle.
We got 2 hours, Mr. Grayson.
What can be done in 2 hours?
I don't know. But there has to be some explanation. That man in there can't explain it. He has a child's mind. Even a man like Andy doesn't kill someone and then hide the weapon he used without hiding the body or trying to get away.
There's no way of knowing how Andy's mind would work. Besides, Widow Briggs and the others wouldn't listen to words.
No, it has to be something they can see. I'm going out to that barn.
I want to go, too. I want to help.
Now, Julia.
But, Papa, Andy's my friend. I may be the only friend he's ever had.
Mr. Grayson.
What?
I think it's a good idea. Julia.
Yes?
Julia, why would Jim Briggs come up here?
Why not? He might have come up here with somebody. He was quite the Beau Brummel.
Woman? Yes. A jealous woman might have killed him.
Yes. Yes, he had a lot of friends, but he was true to none of them. Why, any of a dozen people could have killed him.
Like who?
Oh, there was Bessie Carradine in the Baltimore house. Bessie doesn't let many men run roughshod on her. And there's Jill Prentice. She taught school last year. And then there's a Monte dealer Jim had a terrible fight with a few months ago. She pulled a knife on him then. And then there's Jim's own mother. She used to get jealous of any women Jim had got serious about. And then... And then
there was you.
What?
Were you a friend of his?
Well, Mr. Paladin,
Were you?
Yes.
Is that saddle spike over there on the wall the weapon that killed Jim Briggs?
Yes. Mr. Paladin, Andy didn't do it.
Oh?
I am the one who killed him.
How?
I pushed him against it. I didn't mean to. It was an accident.
Go on.
I met Jim here. It was the first time. He was used to having his way. He took it for granted. He tried to kiss me, and I pushed him, and...
You ran away.
Yes.
He died without knowing that Andy was somewhere around.
Yes, I couldn't tell Papa. He'd never believe that was the first time that I met Jim here. It would have destroyed him.
A man's life depends on you, Julia. Julia, you'll have to tell your father.
I know.
We rode back to Arcadia without speaking anymore. There wasn't any more to be said. But there was a lot more to be done. The man's life had to be saved. And another man's life had to be ruined.
Julia, what is it? Paladin?
Julia has something to tell you, Mr. Grayson.
What is it, Julia?
What I have to tell you is I killed Jim Briggs.
No.
I did, Papa, I did.
It's 3 o'clock. We come for him.
You tell him, Mr. Paladin.
Stay where you are, Paladin, or I'll kill you.
Put the gun away, Grayson.
Andy's a clod, a vegetable. What's he got to live for?
Andy didn't kill him.
Stay back. I've got to protect my daughter.
Nothing will happen to Julia. It was an accident. No one will blame her.
Papa.
Get your things together, Julia.
Sorry, Mr. Grayson.
Please, Paladin, she's my daughter.
Stay with him, Julia.
Now look, Paladin.
Miss Briggs. Chisholm, listen to me. Now, there's no need for this sort of thing. We can talk.
We've done all our talking, Paladin.
Don't try it. I've got 5 more bullets for 5 more men. That's the way it has to be.
Is one of those bullets for me, Mr. Paladin?
Mrs. Briggs, it's time you knew. I killed your son.
Julia and Andy almost ready, Mr. Grayson?
Almost.
Stage is leaving pretty soon.
So many years thinking I was a man of principle, upholding the law. And then I find myself acting like a criminal.
Or a human being, or just a father.
No, not where my job is concerned.
You're only a man, Grayson, not a monument. The best man is only that way because he's a human being.
Maybe. I'm going to give up his badge just the same.
No. That would accomplish nothing.
That must be a bad excuse for a father. She couldn't even trust me to come to me. Tell me what she'd done.
So that's what's bothering you. Well, perhaps it'd be best if you knew the truth. Come on. No matter what I do, you just watch. Just stand and watch.
You know that we're going away someplace now, don't you, Andy?
Gary?
Yes, Andy. You'll like it. There'll be nice people to take care of you and things to do.
Now watch. Ready, Julia?
Oh, yes. All ready. Come along, Andy.
No, never mind. If you come on with me.
Let me go. Let me go.
You come with me. Let her go.
No, Andy. He wasn't trying to hurt me. Don't do that. Don't kill him. Let him go, Andy. He's my friend, Andy. My friend.
Friend?
Yes.
Friend.
Yes, it's all right now, Andy.
Yes. It's all right now.
You knew.
Yes, I knew, Julia. Take him outside.
Come on, Andy.
Andy killed Jim Briggs after all.
Of course.
How did you know?
Well, it didn't make sense to me that Julia hadn't confessed immediately. Not if it was really an accident caused by Briggs forcing his attentions on her. Then Briggs was slammed against a saddle hook higher than my shoulder. And Julia couldn't have done that. There had to be someone with strength enough to lift him. Andy saw her struggling with Briggs and moved in to protect her. Don't ask her about it. She wants it this way.
Well, I can't let Andy go free.
That hospital can take better care of him than any jail or lynch mob.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mr. Grayson, you keep right on wearing that badge. You've done a good job for this town. And for your daughter.
Mr. Paladin! Oh, Mr. Paladin, I don't see you come in and already you're going out. Where to? How come?
I got back from Arcadia an hour ago.
Oh, you have dinner?
Mm-hmm. Down at the wharf.
But now it's after dark. Where you go? Opera? Dancing? Driving in park?
For a walk.
A walk? In dark?
Why not?
Alone?
Why not?
Oh, pretty lonely out there. Foggy damn fog all around. Pretty spooky, I think.
Hey, boy, have you ever walked around San Francisco after dark?
Oh, no.
You should try it sometime. San Francisco is a wonderful city, filled with excitement and adventure. This is just the sort of night to find it.
You feel good?
I feel fine. And so, good night.
Good night, Mr. Paladin. Hey, too bad. Nice man like Mr. Paladin. Hey, too bad.
Have Gun Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed by Norman McDonnell and stars John Daner as Paladin with Ben Wright as Hayboy. Tonight's story was written by John Newbo and adapted for radio by John Dawson. Featured in the cast were Lynn Allen, Harry Bartell, Virginia Gregg, Barney Phillips, and Richard Perkins. Hugh Douglas speaking. Join us again next week for Have Gun Will Travel.
Hear the tale of two trigger-happy suitors with hair-trigger tempers on Gunsmoke. Next on the CBS Radio Network.
John Daner, whose business card read Have Gun Will Travel and who was ensconced in the Carlton Hotel in San Francisco in 1875. I mentioned that this was the only real show that came to radio from television. It had been a monster hit on CBS TV. It had beautiful camera work, adult plots, wonderful acting, great music, including that bum, 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 bum that was written by Bernard Herrmann. I thought it might be fun to go back to the first week or so of the television run of Have Gun Will Travel and let you compare the two. Just the first opening minutes of this very interesting episode.
I'd like you to take a look at this gun. The balance is excellent. This trigger responds to a pressure of 1 ounce. This gun was handcrafted to my specifications, and I rarely draw it unless I mean to use it.
Thank you, Mr. Paladin. Your pen, Mr. Paladin.
Thank you, hey boy. Rancher invades Mexico. pursues elopers' attempts assault on Perdido. Jesse Reed, prominent cattleman of this territory, took fast action when his daughter Nancy ran off with Dave Enderby, for whom the U.S. Marshal holds a murder warrant. Mr. Reed led 26 of his ranch hands against Perdido, notorious outlaw refuge in the Sierra Grandes, where the young couple are believed to have fled. The toll, 21 dead, 3 wounded, including Mr. Reed. New Mexico.
Gotch! Gotch! Oh, never around when I want him. What can I do for you?
My name is Paladin. I got your wire.
What are you trying, mister?
Your name Jesse Reed?
Yeah? And what about it?
You and 26 of your men tried to take the town of Perdido in Mexico. Only 6 of you came back, and not in very good shape either. I sent a card offering my gun. You wired acceptance.
Where did you get all this knowledge?
In the newspapers in San Francisco.
Well, you better go back to San Francisco and read some more papers. I never sent you no wire.
You didn't send me?
Oh, howdy, mister. Gotch is the name. Never mind all this here sociability, Gotch. Show the well-dressed fella to the door. Now, that ain't being very hospitable, Jesse. I don't aim to be hospitable. Man claims I sent him a wire. He just ain't telling the truth. Well, I sent the wire, Jesse. What? Well, who asked you? What's going on here? Who are you? Oh, a fast gun, eh?
Fast enough.
And what do you think you can do for me?
Well, Dave Enderby ran off with your daughter, shot you in the leg, and ambushed 21 of your men. I guess you'd like to see him.
If I couldn't bring him back here with 26 men, just how do you think you can bring him back here alone?
The Greek phalanx was developed out of a specific need. They fought shoulder to shoulder on small battlefields, and they were considered invincible. And then the Macedonians hit them with cavalry. And that was the end of the phalanx. There are all sorts of tactics, Mr. Reed.
Ex-army officer, huh?
Among other things.
West Point sounds like...
Let's say it was your problem.
I know the breed. They can't work, can't sleep. Gotta have action. And money.
And that brings me to my fee.
I'm not paying anything. I didn't ask him, I'm not paying.
You're paying for Dave Enderby. Delivered, breathing. And when I deliver him, that will come to $1,000.
That big black gun of yours comes high. Let's have a look at it. Now, what do you think of that? I asked the man for his gun and he handed it to me. Why, you overdressed tin soldier, you'd have about as much chance against Enderby as a ribbon clerk.
I'll have my gun now, Mr. Reed. I don't think you got a very good look at this gun while you had it. Balance is perfect. This trigger responds to a pressure of 1 ounce. If you look carefully in the barrel, you'll see the lines of rifling. It's a rarity in a hand weapon. This gun was handcrafted to my specifications, and I rarely draw it unless I mean to use it. Would you care for a demonstration?
But you might like to compare the two. That one of the early episodes of Have Gun Will Travel on television, starring Richard Boone, the show that spawned the radio version, starring John Dehner. I'm Dennis Daly. Thanks for going along on our journey through the final 25 years of radio. Radio's golden years. Join me again next time.